Okay, guys, so moving right along, you can see I've got my holes drilled to hold the rail in place. I decided to just call it the rail, and get all my bolts in place. And I got my, if you can see that, spacers. They're all different sizes too, so different there. And I got my spacers in the two back ones. And then I've got my stringers, I'm calling them, in the general area where I think they'll be. Now keep in mind, these bolts, you see how they're sticking up pretty good. They're going to be, after I take it all back apart and paint everything, I'm going to paint the cross members, the spacers, everything. So take it all apart, paint everything, all sides. The bolts will be flipped up the other way. So the only thing sticking up will be the bolt head. And these stringers will be below the 4x4s. So they're in the general spot, but they'll be underneath the 4x4s, and that's what will keep the timber off the ground. And also, these two here, this one and this one in the middle, will be very, very important because they're going to fit between the rails of the trailer. And what they're going to do is stop any movement this way. So if I hit a pretty good bump or I'm on a good lean or something like that, then it won't slide off the trailer or move around too much. So that'll be very good. And then this big piece of angle iron here was not that big, it just looks big. That's going to bolt across the top of the 4x4s. So when the forklift comes in, it'll come in from this way over here. The forklift can bump up against that, because you know how not all forklift drivers are equal, so that'll be a good strong bumper to protect the motorcycle and the timber. And also these stringers will be along the bottom to keep the pallet in place when the forklift is lifting it. So if the forklift hits a little bobble and the motorcycle wiggles a little bit, it won't. That's like a safety thing to stop the pallet falling off the damn forklift. But going along pretty good. I'm happy with everything. Let's see. This piece of channel here was really heavy. I don't know if you notice. Probably all you steel workers out there. I cut these sidewalls down by half. See, it used to be like that tall on each side, and I cut all that down. You can see the rough edges. I still got to clean up if I want to. So that's the deal. The next step will be set the stringers underneath, drill the stringers, bolt them on, and then probably bolt the lift bumper on. And then take it all back apart. Take it all back apart and paint it all. Make it look good and make it last. And then another thing I had to do recently is I had to do some boot repair. It's my boots right here. And my heels were completely worn out. So what I did was I got a piece of old recap from a blowout and I trimmed it down. Well, let me start from the beginning. You can see the heel there, the original heel from the boot. And then over here, let's see, what did I do with those? Over here somewhere. It's the old heels. Oh, there they are. So you can see how worn they were. This is the left boot. I mean, look at that. Wait a minute. I think that's my left. Hang on a second. Yeah, right. So the left one is worn more because I got some hip damage in so it makes my right leg a little bit shorter. And look at the difference it makes to your shoes. So anyway, I didn't have the money to go out and buy a nice new pair of boots, which I used to do. But I cut the heel off with a hacksaw. Oh, there's a good shot right there. You can see the gap and a little bit of silicone in there. And then I cut the recap to a rough size. And then I just connected the recap into the plastic heel there with, I think they were drywall screws. So anyway, I drilled it out, and just screwed them on there. But anyone who's got Western boots and they're low on money, they can do the same thing. You can see how I left it kind of squarish right there. I could have trimmed it all down nice so that the heel would have the same angle on and all that, but I wanted to leave all that meat on there. So it, gives me more wear. I mean, this should last quite a while. And the other important thing is to do, if you do this, you see how the screw is, I think countersunk they call it, countersunk into the rubber. That's important because I had another pair I did this with, and I left the screws out a little bit. And when you get in a supermarket, you'll be ice skating. So it's important to get the screws below the actual surface that you're, well, you know what I mean. So anyway, there's my boots. So they should last me quite a while now. So you can see they were a nice pair of boots. And I just didn't want to throw them away. I wanted to repair them. See, I still got the other one on right there, see? All right.